Sylvain a fost director la Venice până anul acesta, until this year you were going to Venice, până anul acesta, timp de vreo 10 ani, iar Jacopo este președintele de la Torino Film Market. Și noi ne-am gândit să vină și să vă vorbească puțin despre festivalul, despre ce se întâmplă la Torino Film Market pe partea de scurtmetraje și ce se întâmplă la Veneția pe partea de lungmetraje. Și mi se pare o întâlnire foarte importantă să le puteți pune întrebări și să vedeți cum se face selecția filmelor, ce se întâmplă acolo, pe ce criterii aleg și așa mai departe. I explained that it's very important for you. You understand me?
Yeah.
We can speak Romanian.
No, I understand.
Okay. Well, you want to explain something about Venice?
No, I was just explaining what are the biggest film festivals in the world: Cannes, Berlin, Toronto, and Venice. And then I was going to explain a little bit that after there's some festivals, some markets,
and how hard it is to be selected in Venice?
How hard? Very hard. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Actually, you have more and more movies which are made. The last 15 years, it's like an explosion of movies which are made in the world for different reasons. Economical reasons, because it costs less and less to make movies, because the technology has changed so quickly. Everybody can make a movie with phone now. So yeah, of course not as good quality, but it's and also because more and more countries are trying to help and encourage the young producers and the young scriptwriter. There are some, not all countries, but many countries, they have some public subsidies, which are getting bigger and bigger. Of course, France is the biggest country for that, but in Argentina, in Colombia, in Germany, in all the Scandinavian countries, you have. So we, as programmer of film festival, we receive more and more movies. We receive too many movies. So many that we cannot see them all. I mean, last year, for the first time in Venice Days, there was at least 200 movies that we didn't have the time to watch. Because also we received them very late. And it's more and more difficult to be selected in the festival. And it is more and more important to be selected, because otherwise the movie don't exist. There are so many movies which are made, which cost money, and that nobody will never see. So many. Because if they are refused by the 3 big festivals, because usually, why they were so important? Why did I start with the 4 biggest film festivals? Because when you launch a movie, it's better to start with one of these 4. Berlin, Cannes, Toronto, or Venice. Because after, you can go to some smaller ones. Because also in those 4 film festivals, you have all the other smaller festival directors who are here to see what has been selected by the big 4. That is really the biggest thing. And so everyone is trying to be in Cannes, or in Berlin, or in Toronto, or in Venice. And this is why the selection is getting more and more difficult.
So you tell us that it's better to start with the bigger festivals than go to a smaller one and then a bigger.
You cannot go to very good question. You cannot go to small and then to big, because this 4 big, it's only world premiere. So if your movie has been seen, has been screened somewhere else, you cannot be even selected. That's, yeah, I should have started with this. Because what makes them so big, especially Cannes, Venice, and Berlin, is that it's world premiere. What is called a world premiere, it means it's the very first time it's screened in the world. You have also what we call international premiere, which means that the movie was screened in its country, original country, and then will do its international premiere in a big festival. That is no longer possible for Cannes and Venice. It's only world premiere. But it's still possible for Locarno, San Sebastian, Rotterdam, which are big festivals, but like just after. So I mean, if you have a Romanian movie, you can show the Romanian movie at the BIF, and then after put it in Locarno. That is possible, but not in Venice.
Okay.
Okay.
Berlin is good also.
Huh?
Berlin is good also.
No, Berlin is really good. After, you know, it's a strategy, but that's more the problem of the producer and of the sales agent. What you know what is a sales agent? You know what is a sales agent?
I think they don't know.
Okay. When you produce a movie, you're the producer. So you have the rights of the movie. And you have the rights for all the planet. But in every country, you have some distributor. People that will buy the rights of a foreign movie to diffuse it, to screen it in the cinema, or to sell the rights to the television, or to edit the video. To sell it to Netflix. Usually the producer gives his rights to a sales company, a sales agent, which you are different in the world, and this is their job. So when they sell the movie, they take a commission and they give the rest to the producer. Where do they sell the movie? Usually they sell the movie by putting the movie to a big festival where it's going to be seen, where you're going to have a lot of different barriers from different countries. And maybe they like the movie, they buy the right for France or for Colombia or for Korea. So this is why it's so important. It's even more important to start in a big festival, because this is where you have the market and this is where you have the buyers. Buyers can be only for cinema and the cinema, but you have also buyers just for TV rights or just for a platform, VOD platform. Many movies, they end up in a VOD platform or just for TV. So it's a strange world. The movie industry, it's very complex to understand, but basically, you make a movie. Once the movie is finished, you have two possibilities for the producer. Either you look for a sales agent that will look for a festival after, or either as a producer you look directly for a festival. So me, as a festival, I received movies from sales agents, but I receive movies from producers directly, who don't have a sales agent, or not yet.
Which is better?
There's no better, actually. It depends of many things. Actually, if your movie is really good and you believe it's good, it's better to look for yourself for a festival. And once you get a festival, you will have all the sales agents flying on you, saying, oh, please give me the rights, I will take care of the movie. And then you can negotiate higher price.
What do you look for in a movie when you're, for instance, when you were in Venice Festival as a director? What did you look in for the movie first time when you saw it?
Well, every section is different. But in my section, which was a new section when it was created 15 years ago, we were looking for not the best movies, because those very big ones, they go to competition usually. But we're looking for two things. We're looking for new directors, new talents when we feel there's a big talent and they're going to raise, which we did with Denis Villeneuve, for example. We got Incendie, and now Denis Villeneuve is doing Blade Runner. And also, we look for originality, because maybe there are more and more movies which are made, but I mean, especially when you have to watch 800 movies every year, there's so many which are just telling the same stories in the same way and talking about the same thing. And also, me personally, I look sometimes for a little bit of fun and smiling, because all the movies we watch are really depressing. You know, like the little kid in Iran which is lost, or like the drunk father who lost his job in the Czech Republic, or you know, I think it's always like reality, but it's like it makes you cry all the time. Sometimes I like some light movies. But we like usually every festival, every section. It's very important to have something very mixed, different kind of movies. Also, I think it's important to have very different movies and also some light movies and funny movies, because I keep thinking always at the audience. It's not only my taste. I want to please the people who are going to watch the movies in my section. And I think that if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I show them depressing movies, Friday they shoot themselves. So I have to put a comedy in the middle, that they can breathe. That's very important. That's really art of programmation.
And you studied film directing or studies?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, I study law and international trade. So political science. But
okay, but after your experience as a festival director, what would be your assumption on what film school students should see in order to create some knowledge base?
That's a very good question. It's funny because I would love to teach in cinema school, but sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, oh God, if I was a teacher, this is the movie I would like my students to watch, because this is exactly what you should not do, or this is exactly what you should do. Like for example, it was last year I saw a French movie, which was a disaster, but the dialogues were really, really bad, but really bad. They were big, famous actors, but the dialogues were so badly written. And I thought, oh, this is a typical example that should be seen in any film school or film university, because this is what it should not be done. Also, when it can be the contrary, when the sound is excellent. I'm very sensitive to the sound. When I can feel a work was done on the sound, or the cinematography, the photography. Also, I'm like, oh, this is typically a film that, at least the photography is good. The rest is not good, but the photography is excellent. So that could be. So there's not like, of course, you need to see your classicals. It's like for when you study literacy, you have to read, certain authors that you have to know. So in the film, of course, you have to see Gone with the Wind, West Side Story, Clockwork Orange, or and even Indiana Jones also. And Ben-Hur. But also, and after all the last 20 years, you have some classical that has to be seen. But I think it's interesting for you students, each time you see a foreign movie which is not from a US major, which is like a movie like, I don't know, like a Scandinavian movie or a Korean movie or a French movie, or which is released, try to go to watch it. Because if it's been released, even if it will last only 1 or 2 weeks in the screening theater, go to see it, because it means that there was someone who buys the right of this movie, and he buys the right of this movie among 1,000 other movies, and he chooses this one. So he chooses this one for good reason. So I think you try to see what is released during the year in Romania, and try to go to see those independent movies, especially if they've been in, usually it's written on the poster, if they've been in Cannes or in Berlin or in Venice.
Your turn.
It's doctor.
Yeah.
What is doctor? So I explain what I do.
Yes.
If you have a question.
Now,
Okay.
explain about Torino.
Yes, as I told you, my main job is the promotion of Italian short films with the Italian Short Film Center. The Italian Short Film Center is like a small agency, a promotion agency. So in a small way, we do what Sylvain does with uniforms. We promote, we submit films to festivals, we suggest more than submit short films to short film programs in the main festivals, in small festivals, in specific festivals of just short films. When Sylvain said that there are 4 sections in Venice or in Cannes, he forgot the fifth section, which is short films.
Yeah, that was
Okay, so
good.
that doesn't matter. I forgive you. And there is a competition of short films in Berlin, Cannes, Venice. In Toronto as well, they have a competition, even though they don't have competition on features. There are no awards in Toronto. So the main festivals have usually a short film section. What does it mean? It means they accept films. It depends on the length. It depends on the festival. Until 20 minutes, for instance, Venice. 15 minutes competiții, I think. I don't remember so well. 30 minutes in Berlin. 40 minutes in Locarno, which is more than a short film. So we collaborate with these festivals and with festivals that have just short films, like the main festival, the Cannes of short films, is Clermont-Ferrand in France, in the middle of France. But there are many festivals of short films in Europe, especially in Europe, but all over the world, like Villa do Conde, Oberhausen, Hamburg. In Italy there are 250 film festivals on short films. I don't have the correct number, of course. So our job is to push the Italian production. About 3 years ago, we created a professional event called Torino Short Film Market in Torino during the Torino Film Festival, which is the second most important festival in Italy. Is it correct in ranking?
Yeah.
Okay, the second one. It's a big festival on about 10 days with a competition for first features and second features. And we created this event in collaboration with them. This event is focused on classical, typical, let's say, short film market, short films contents. So that means we invite films, we select films, we screen short films, and we invite as well buyers, TV buyers, VOD buyers that are looking for short films. Our goal is the meeting, the link between distributors or producer and buyers. This is typical, the typical goal, the typical approach of short film markets. We added also a part of the market as a link with the big, let's say, big industry of audiovisual industry. So we have also a pitch for feature films and TV series coming from short films. Do you know what a pitch is?
Yeah.
Okay. So a presentation of short films and plus projects of feature or TV series, because a lot of short films have an evolution, a project of evolution in feature and TV series. This year we will take place between 22 and 25 November, and I will show you our website and our calls. I think it will be clearer. Thank you. Okay. So if you have short films or projects to submit,
when do you close the selection?
How much does it cost to submit a short film?
it's too much, I can't tell you. No, it's 10 euros per film.
When do you
I have
close
to make a credit.
And the card,
Oh,
how much cost the...
you know,
The
in
submission for Cannes depends for each section. For
short?
for short films,
80
is calculated, isn't it?
70, I think.
70.
90.
Yeah.
70?
17 early bird, and then if you get after the early bird, and you're at the...
It's very expensive.
I paid 7.
It's very expensive.
When do you close
Won't be
the elections for turning?
The deadline is 10 September.
Okay, great. Then I'm gonna apply.
Okay, Torino Short Film Market, the calls. The first one, we have a day on digital contents. That means VR, mostly VR, and digital series. Always 10 euros to submit projects. It's a pitch for projects, plus round table and meetings all day long. Okay. If you are interested in digital contents, maybe you can find here some investors, producers, and buyers as well. Distributors, big buyers, is the core, the short film core of the market. Is the first pitch for distributors' catalogs. Last year we invited 8 distributors with their catalogs, specialized in short films. They pitched for 7 minutes their catalogs, showing 1 or 2 minutes of their films, and then they had about 30 meetings with buyers, because we invited about 30 buyers. So we tried to make meetings between all the buyers and all the distributors. So it's they're called speed dating. Speed dating. It's last year it was 5 minutes. It was really speed. Every 5 minutes a bell rang, and they had to change the tables. But they have also the time to drink a coffee or a glass of wine later. It's not. They have more than 5 minutes. So this call is just for distributors that have films in a catalog. Oltrecorto is the project I explained a bit before, for projects of feature films and TV series. So if you have a short film with an evolution, with a project of an evolution in a feature film or TV series project, you can apply. The short films, I didn't say, we work on short films maximum length 30 minutes, in Oltrecorto as well. We invite producers to Oltrecorto that are looking for young talents for first feature projects. Same price, 10 euros. Same deadline. Then Picture Fest, the first we do a lot of first in the world. The first pitching session for festivals. As Sylvain said, festivals are very important in this system, in the cinema system, in the film system, and for the short films as well. So we wanted to be more linked than the past 2 years to the festival field. So we invented this pitch where short film festivals can present themselves and explain why it's important, it's interesting, it's a value to be in their festivals. Because there are a lot, thousand festivals, thousand festivals, short film festivals in Europe and in the world. So where it's important to be, to go, not just to submit, but to go in order to meet people, to meet professionals. So we will select about we don't know yet, but about 6 or 7 festivals that will have 7 minutes to introduce themselves. And last but not least, the screenings. So a call for films. we have 4 days of screenings in a small screening room, and we have as well a video library. You know what's a video library? Video library is like an archive of films where we put about not more than 500 films for buyers. The video library stays online for 6 months after the market, so the buyers that came to the market have the opportunity to watch and rewatch and look for other films in the library. I would show you our library, but I don't have the access. Anyway, it's a useful. It's very useful, the video library, for distributors and for buyers. And what else? I can show you our venue, because we are really proud of this place. It's wonderful if you want to come to Torino. It's really a beautiful building. Oh, we had some first edition photos and videos. Okay, maybe it's better here. No.
He was invited last year here, Paolo Genovese.
Paolo Genovese, yes, because in Horticourt he did a masterclass meeting explaining his personal experience between short film and feature film. He made a film called Incantesimo Napoletano with Luca Miniero. That was a short film that became a feature. So it was the perfect example of a successful short film becoming a feature. This is an informal moment. It's a networking breakfast organized by Maya Workshop. That is a project of producers, a training for producers. Okay, buyer, distributor. Okay, you can have a look on our website, but it was just to show you the venue, which is very, very nice. And of course, it's a place where you can meet in a really informal way people that could be useful for your professional life. Okay. If you have questions. Mazzino was your colleague, or no? Mazzino. Mazzino is speaking because it's a program of short films in Torino.
It's important when your students, whatever you study, if you study photography, if you study directing, it's very, very important first to know that usually you start to do short movies. It's very rare that you start with a long feature movie. So it's good to know all the short movies, festival and laboratories or co-production markets. But then after, even in a long feature, if you do long feature movie, I told about the 4 big film festivals, but all the other ones are quite important because when they are like big, but less big, but big, like Rotterdam, like Locarno, they have developed those festivals, what we call co-production markets. And they are very interesting place to go. You try to get your script selected, and if it is selected, you will meet some people that can put money on your project. But also you will meet many other people, and people who are trying to do the same as you do. People that, and it's very important once you want to do, especially for directing, but also photography, to frequent some festivals all year long, because you meet some people that you will meet again in another festival, and you start to have a network. And I'm talking more for you guys, because if you want to do photography, because transformed the independent movie industry the last 20 years. To get job, to get work, it's better to work at the international level. To try to find, because before a DP it was usually someone which is chosen by a director. Someone the director knows, they say, oh, let's work together, let's see if it works. And if it works, you will work with the same person. So here we are here in Romania. If you don't have so many directors at them, I think you should try to go to some small festival, not too small, but festivals that have this kind of co-production market, even of short movies. And there meet some future directors and new directors, which are from other countries, but that it doesn't matter. But at least that open your range of possibility. That's an advice I can give.
Thank you.
Question.
No, and just to say something about festivals. In Romania, there's one very big festival, as you know, it's Cluj. But at the international level, it's a very big festival. It's one of the, I will say, one of the 15 biggest in Europe.
Oh.
Yeah, at this level. And it's a festival that I saw, because I'm a bit older than you, unfortunately, that I saw rising, and I know pretty well the two directors, and it's incredible how it has progressed, and it's really one of the, in terms of tickets which are sold, it's one of the biggest in Europe. You have also Göteborg in Sweden, which is a bit like that.
Again, the name?
Göteborg in Sweden. You have, well, in Europe, the biggest one, apart from Cannes, Berlin, and Venice, are San Sebastian in Spain, which is in end of September, Rotterdam, which is in end of January, in the Netherlands. It's really big, really, really big. In terms of ticket, I think it's number one. It's more than Berlin in terms of tickets sold, but it's not as important as that. You have Locarno in Switzerland, which is in August. You have Sarajevo, which is also in August in Bosnia.
Clermont-Ferrand?
Huh?
Clermont-Ferrand?
For short.
No, I'm talking about long.
Ah, sorry.
Clermont-Ferrand is the biggest one for sure. For sure. You have Cluj, Göteborg, Warsaw, which is now really big in end of October, I think. Rome is okay, but Turin is bigger. It's a league of Turin.
In terms of tickets?
Yeah. And you have, yeah, that's very special, but that's a new trend, this is why it's interesting. You have CIGES. CIGES in Spain is becoming bigger and bigger, and it's a genre film festival, which means they don't have every type of movies. They have only horror or scary or movies. And you have another one called Fantasia in Montreal, which is also huge and bigger every year. And it's a very interesting tendency to see that some festivals which are with a theme or specialized on a special topic, they get really bigger. Like also you have a film festival, in some countries you have an American film festival. For example, in France you have the American Film Festival in Deauville. You have also the Asiatic Film Festival, which is in our cities. Then you have also the Thriller Film Festival, which is in Cognac. That's for France, but you have that in every country. Here in Bucharest you have many festivals with a theme, which are smaller. You have the European Film Festival.
Yeah, but it's not
you have the, but that exists also. But those festivals is more for the audience. But for you guys, with what you are studying, you need to know what are the big festivals where they have co-production markets, where they select projects. And also, even if they didn't select your project, it's good to have a look, to go there. Because, like he explained, for the short, it's the same for the long. You have the markets, people meet at the speed meeting, but after, you always have a cocktail. Every night there's a cocktail. And in the evening people can meet, so it's a good way to meet people. And if you want to do this career, I think you really need to meet other people who also want to do the same thing, but that give you some tricks and give you some information. It's very, very important not to be just like, oh, I study in my university, I get my diploma, and after I'm going to do this. It doesn't work like this. the independent movie industry, it doesn't work like this. You have to keep in mind also that independent movie industry represents less than 5% of the tickets sold in the world. 95% are the big US major movies. So we are like, we are nothing. But we are 10,000 times more people working in this industry than people in Hollywood. But we represent very little.
And do you think that we can speak a bit about the work in progress program? Because for me, the program from Work in Progress for Sarajevo helped me a lot. And I think it's important for them to understand this part that some festival has, like Sarajevo, I'm not so sure.
That's what I call co-production markets.
Yes.
Also, you have, co-production market is like basically your project is selected, then you are invited, then you're gonna meet during 3 days or 4 days some guests, the other guests which can be producers or who can be buyers or can be sales agents also, because sales agent on a project you can say, oh, I like the project, I put 20,000 euros or 40,000 euros on your project, but I get the rights after I will be the sales agent.
Scuze, nu știu dacă este engleză, înțeleg, aș vrea să știu cum se poate participa la evenimente ca invitat, ca să vezi festivalurile, chiar dacă nu ai film. Adică cum poți să obții o invitație.
She asked me how they can come to a festival without a film, to see the...
How to get accreditation.
Usually you have a pass, from Rotterdam, for example, in Rotterdam, also in Sarajevo, you can get a pass and go to see movies, but also usually, it's not like Cannes. When you're in Sarajevo or even in Rotterdam, when there's a cocktail or whatever, you can get in. You get managed, really. I've been working in Rotterdam 6 years. I've been working in Locarno. I've been doing different little things. Each time helping. I see some young wannabe directors. They manage to get in. Otherwise,
But not everywhere.
Not everywhere.
For example, it's impossible.
No, Carnival, everything is impossible. Carnival is an important festival also. But what she was talking about, the work in progress, what means a work in progress? Because you can have the selection of your project, but also you have some festivals that are screened work in progress. We call it WIP. And it means that you have already shoot something and you're going to show a little bit of what you've been shooting. Or you can also show the whole movie, but the post-production is not made. The sound and the color and the images of it, which is a very bad idea, I think. But it's better to work. So some festivals organize like a work-in-progress session, where they invite in a screening room a lot of professionals, and then every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, there's someone, usually the director and the producer, they talk about their movies that they are finishing, and they show two extracts explaining what it is. And they say, now we're looking for some more producer to finish the post-production, or we're looking for a sales agent, or we are looking for a big festival to start. And so in the screening room, you have some festival directors, you have some producers, and you have some sales agents. They do it very, very well in Göteborg. This is the best place to do. But also they do it in Sarajevo.
Yeah, it helped me a lot. And the last thing, I know it's very important when you make the application for the festival, not to be in the last minute, because,
I told them at the beginning that there are more and more people trying to make movies, and there are more and more societies, so there are more and more competition. So the only solution is really to get to the co-production market or festivals. And for sure you have to, if you want to have a chance, you have to respect the deadlines to send your script or to send your little footage or whatever.
No, but I think it is better to send in the first part, not in the last part of the submission. For example, for Venice, the last data is I don't know,
15 June.
15 September.
Yeah.
It's better to be in the first part, no, not in the last.
Yeah, of
last
course,
part.
because after we have too many, we receive too many things. And as I told that at the beginning also that last year for the first time there was 200 movies that we did not watch at all because we received too many. So the last one we received, we didn't watch them. We could not, but we could not hire new people to help us watch movies.
Întrebări?
And I wanted just to add, I think there are more and more specific markets and festivals because he explained the ecosystem of feature films, but there are also markets for documentaries and for animation. Like IDFA in Amsterdam for documentaries is a festival and market, huge, the main festival and market for documentaries in the world.
You know, in Sunnyside also.
Sunnyside, yeah. And for animation is Annecy in the French Alps. That is the Cannes of animation. So you have also to choose, your kind of festival, your kind of market. If you have an experimental film shot in in Super 8, maybe doesn't make sense to go to Cannes. To want to go to Cannes, maybe it's better.
But Locarno, you have a chance.
To Locarno, you have a chance. Yeah.
But it's what I said, and it goes in, this is why it's so interesting because everything is changing also. You have some big festivals, they become smaller. Small festivals become bigger, and it's a cycle. But also you have a cycle with the new technology and the new tendencies. And now you have a festival of series, of TV series, where they show you the 2 first episodes of the new season, and they made also competition. And you have one which is becoming bigger and bigger, which was in Paris before, now it was in Lille this year, it's called Serie Mania. And that's the biggest one in Europe, but you have some in the US also.
So, I find out about a site that have every festivals. And my colleague can help me with the name.
Film Freeway.
Okay, filmfreeway.com.
.com.
Yeah.
So, if I go there, how do I choose the festival where I want to participate? To promote myself in the beginning and then to win something. Not necessarily money at the beginning.
At the beginning.
At the beginning.
I'm probably not going to answer exactly to your question. I'm going to warn you. Because you come from another generation where you're the internet generation, so you're so used that, oh, there's this site that will help me to get all the festivals. So I'm warning you because so far there's not a single site or whatever that will tell you, oh, you have to go to this festival and this festival and this festival. Festivals are in competition in between them. They can complete each other for you, but they are not like, we are not like a big family, we love each other, no, we are like a human, so I'm afraid. So you don't have any sites, I don't know about this site I told you, but you don't have any site that's going to tell you, oh, you go with your, you have this kind of movie, oh, you should go to this festival and go to there, no, you have to look for that yourself. And be very careful about any platform, the other platform, that promise you that they will take you after something, because that is bullshit. Okay. You really need to check all the festivals you've heard about, the real festival, the live festival, not real day festival. To check, each one has a site, an official site. So check the site because they show pictures, they explain what they do. They explain also how to fill up the form if you have a project or if you have a movie that you want to put there. But you have really to check them and look for them. So I told you what are the 4 big ones, I told you some others that exist. And also you have to make the difference between a festival which is only for audience, there's no market, there's no, some of them are really big. And a festival which has also an industry part. And when they are, usually on any site of big festival, you have like industry or markets, go on that. and check what they do, because that's more fun.
So what are the requirements for a documentary?
It depends on the festivals. For example, I suggest you should go to 2 sites. You should go to sunny side of the dock. Sunny side of the dock. It's a festival. It's the biggest one of the 2 biggest in France. Sunny side of the dock. And the other one is IDFA, which is in Amsterdam, which is the most prestigious one. IDFA, it's in Amsterdam. And also you have another one which is very big in Toronto called Hot Dog.
Yeah.
Hot dogs. And it's like a hot dog, but it's hot dogs. It's made a Game of War. So go on those 3 sites and check inscription. You're going to see 3 different things, 3 different ways to do it. Now, I'm not going to tell you the best one because there's not a best one. It's different. But once you get, I mean, that's a good exercise you should do. Because read the 3 way of subscription, compare them, and then it will give you an idea after for anything else. How is the industry? So I can go back to the sunny side of the
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thanks.
Bravo!
Super.